our goal was to come out and show the Avenger holster. And then we had the brilliant idea, let's show another variation. So we went to the Snap Avenger as well.
Yeah, and so really 2 for the price of 1, right? In a holster design.
Very little difference in them on the actual construction, but the results are radically different.
You're building the same thing, but all of a sudden it's like, what's that? Now all of a sudden you have a new product.
And slight changes in holsters make a lot of difference. So we had an opportunity to get a couple in here, a husband and wife. But remember how slight the changes we were making on their bodies on the holsters and how much difference it made on their ability to draw and reholster the firearm.
Yeah, quarters of an inch, degrees of, yeah,
degrees.
It was neat. And, from behind the camera, so Rachel and I are back there trying to think, okay, how does this help the holster maker or the leather crafter? And that seemed like really so foundational to making a holster, because yes, you're making something to hold something, but there's so much more. In a nutshell, can you kind of talk about
what gets forgot a lot of times is a holster maker or holster designer needs to be someone that carries a firearm, has training, and uses a firearm. If you're not, it's like imagine someone building a saddle that's never seen a horse.
Oh, yeah. Right. That'd be like me building a saddle.
Right. So there's a lot of things that happen there. Now, that's on the design side. So if you're going to sit down with a blank piece of paper and say, I'm going to design a holster that's going to work for this individual, you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges. But in today's world, we have a lot of makers that are willing to share education, as you're doing here, as well as patterns. And what I've always told people, the best way to get into somebody's head, into a designer's head, is build his pattern slavishly 2 or 3 times. And you're going to say, why is this curve here? Why is this angle here? What difference did that make? That lets you get into their head. So it's a scary place, guys, but you've been in my head here for a few hours.
It is a scary place. It is a scary place. That reminds me, so this is one of the things we made in the class.
This was the variation. The original that we were started to make was here. This is an Avenger holster, okay? And then we decided to bring in and show the Snap Avenger as well. Specifically, I designed this holster several years ago because I had a problem I love Avenger holsters, okay? But this narrow gap right here between the belt tunnel and the belt slot, you want to get a belt loop here when you're putting it on your pants.
Okay.
And then I was actually unable to take it off. I would have to sit down in a chair or on my bed, slide my pants down in order to manipulate the gun belt to get it out of this area. Okay. So I wasn't able to remove it. I could put it on easily, but I couldn't take it off. So here, when we did this holster right here, I could unsnap this.
Lay that flat.
Yeah, I could unsnap this.
Okay.
And now I just had the tunnel and I could pull it off.
Perfect.
So it's solved a lot of problems.
It's cool looking, the utility of it, and man, that was a fun class to record. And I want to tie this into some upcoming classes that you have coming to Pendleton.
Man.
But because there's a lot of moving parts of how these things all key together, right? So you can, if you're watching this, you're probably part of Illum or are looking at becoming and subscribing to learn how to make a holster like this, or, many other projects.
Holsters, we are the smallest of the small of what you do. When you have Ed Labar that comes in and teaches you how to do his coloring by nature, his carving, the guys at Burns, building a saddle.
Yeah, but what's neat about how it ties in to the Illum platform is that you don't want to spend the time cutting out leather, right? You can get, what is it called again?
Well, we have the click and ship, okay? And this is part of our click and ship program. And these are as well. What's going on here is, and you heard us in the class if you've taken it, how dependent we as holster designers and holster makers are on our leather. And that's one of the places that we can always strive to improve. So several years ago, I went to Herman Oak and had a chance to talk to Shep and to Todd there. And I said, guys, I need a little bit better, I want a higher density in my leather all the time. And they showed me some techniques they had, and so they started making this leather for us. We're exclusive to it. It's holster prep.
Yeah.
It sometimes can be a challenge to cut by hand.
Well, and
it's very, very dense.
When I first started looking at the holster projects, I'm like, where do you get that leather? You know, do I have to buy a hide? This kind of solves that issue. Is not only is it a piece of leather for you to make your project, but it's gun leather, and in the case of the click and ship, it is specially made for your process, is what I understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm a holster maker. Not everybody wants to be a holster maker. They might want to make a holster for their firearm or for a family member. And who wants to buy a whole hide to make one holster?
Here's the other issue I have is I don't have a stitcher. I'm a video guy. I have enough hobbies between
and we had some challenges with our stitcher here this week.
And there's some stuff there, but with this is a flat pack, right?
Right. This is a flat. So a click and ship comes with, you get a stitch line pattern, you get a pattern with this. And in fact, in a new product coming out that I believe Illum is going to be carrying, there's going to be 5 patterns.
This is the uniqueness I'm looking at in upcoming classes. So at Pendleton, you're going to do, were you doing flat packs?
We're going to have a flat pack. They'll have their choice, a flat pack or click and ship. And what I really want to take them through is the process of molding, dyeing, and finishing the holster, and then the final stretch.
And this is what we have just got done in. Last year, we did the pancake holster, which is what you're holding. And then just barely, we wrapped on shooting the Avenger.
Right.
And so what's neat about that is if somebody's sitting there going, okay, I want to go take Pendleton. I want to go to the live class. I want to go hang out with George. I want to see his teaching style.
Right.
The problem with me with live classes is you're there for a couple days. You feverishly work through.
Come back to Illum.
And that's what's really neat about, especially how we've structured these particular courses, is here are the materials, here's the variant, here's a different flavor. You can take the live course and you can combine that with a subscription to Illum.
There you go. So and maybe we can work something together to where they get an economic advantage off of doing both at the same time.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, there's already built in that you go to the live class, you have a lot of fun for a couple of days. It's an experience. But the next week, you're sitting there going, okay, what do we do now?
One of the things that we're going to do, so let's kick this up a notch. Let's make this a more attractive thing for the person going to Pendleton, okay?
Okay.
So typically in a manufacturing class in which you would receive leather already cut out, grand tradition of that, right? Then you'd have to put it together, do all that. Well, there's a lot of things about manipulating this leather that may cause you some problems. So why don't I take that package that we built for Illum with the 5 patterns on it, right? And the leather. All right. So you get in the class, you're going to sit down, you're going to send me a message or in the class, so I bring the right patterns for you.
The right pattern and the right blue gun.
Yeah,
right? There's going to be a blue gun in the class.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, depending on what it does to the class, we can make some blue gun available to where you purchase it with the class or not. We have to weigh what you're doing because I'm going to be throwing some more stuff in here. So you get the click. First part of the class, I show you how to take the pattern and get it onto the click and get everything ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, the actual design.
Yeah. Now you put this back into your envelope.
Okay.
And I bring you a flat pack that's already stitched for your head. You've done all the work here. Let's just remove that stitching process, which is going to slow that class down. Let's keep you building.
What else do you do once you make the holster?
What is the thing that we always forget as holster makers to make because we're so pumped about the holster? We decided let's do mag pouches, an accessory you often forget. Now this is a really cool one because you don't have to take your belt off, Derek. You literally
even though I took my belt off to try to put it on.
You slide it over your belt, bring it up and put it on. This is unique in our line because I didn't design this.
Okay, and I was giving you a hard time about the pattern. I did realize that.
Andrew Callis of AJ Custom Design.
And he's going to be at
Houston,
Pendleton, right? I
think
want to
he
meet this
is.
guy.
I think
Okay.
He used to live up in that area.
Okay.
We hope we get him down, but he's got a family.
I know, yeah. Things happen. And we're taping this months ahead of time, so who knows what could happen.
Then we did this class here, and everybody got a big laugh about what the pattern looks like. But we have these, and so you take it in the class, you're going to have patterns for both double stack and single stack magazines as well.
Perfect.
Comes with your class.
We'll put that
we
in.
like to make sure that you get the patterns, so you take the class, you can build it, sell this stuff, make it again, do it again and again.
Absolutely.
So then what else happened?
And so now we need something to hang our holsters on, right?
Yep.
And I'm a belt guy. I think this is this was on my goal list here.
Gun belts are probably 60% of our business. Not just gun belts, but all belts are.
Okay.
So we're a holster and belt company. You see a double stitch line from us. That means a monolithic belt. We take our same Hermann holster leather that we have them make just for us, and we double it up, double stitch it. We put on a pretty spendy buckle there, and if you'll notice, we copper rivet those.
Okay.
We spend a lot of money and a lot of time designing, determining what buckle we're going to use.
So they're going to keep it.
They're going to keep it.
Okay.
And this is one of our newer belts, and I think this one's yours.
Yeah,
Garrett
no, I am
we're going to
stoked.
give this for your someone else in your family.
Okay, yeah.
What's happening here with this is 6 ounce, 6 ounce instead of 8.5, 8.5. So it's 12 ounce final, but inside in the middle of it, we put in hinge rated polypropylene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll never crack, never kink, never rust, never fail. 3/4 of an inch wide inside of here. It lets us go thinner, but maintain all the rigidity of the monolithic belt.
No, they're awesome. Now, so part of this segment, I wanted to talk about something I learned, so that I wasn't sleeping behind the camera
All right. So
whole time.
What did you learn?
Well, so what was interesting to me was the head to tail, basically breaking up the stretch of your leather.
Goes as the side of a cow, from their head to their tail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the head, here's the tail. I'm going to mess this up.
Flip it over.
And that's his head.
No. Just do this.
Okay. Yeah.
On the outside layer.
Okay, outside layer.
His head is there.
His head is here.
Okay.
There's his tail.
Okay. On the inside layer, head. And tail.
It's been a long day of filming. George is probably going to, we're probably both going to pass out.
The great tip on this is, as a cow, if you think about a cow critter, here he is. He's eating grass. He's got to be able to turn his head. And his body rotates, right?
Okay.
So he needs his skin to be able to move here. Okay? And then here is staying pretty stable, and then a little bit of movement back here. So what we want to do is right where it's going to move, if we flip that around, now we have the stiffest part of the leather with the loosest, and we're level across the board.
I thought that was...
We reduced error.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And then I learned by doing it wrong, the measurement deal. So I took this belt and I measured from here.
Which is very thin.
Oh yeah, this is what?
Tell the difference?
Eighth of an inch, maybe?
No,
this is better than my other belt.
Right. So we have to do a little bit of math and realize basically we're doing a pie. When we're doing a 1/4 inch thick belt, we're going to add 3/4 inch to the measurement off that thin belt to get you in the same place, because this leather has to travel around the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and so long story short, we're just going to add a hole.
And you can put this belt on.
And yeah, when we put it on, because we tried it on and did a fitment with me, I think I was on... I think I was right there. We can see if I've grown.
But you can relax that a little bit too.
Yeah, no, I think I put it on as tight as it would go.
Yeah, you want to relax.
So everybody tells me that. Everybody tells me that. And so Now, so stuff for the future, because we've both had it, right?
Well, yeah.
You don't want to shoot anymore, right?
I'm tired.
Okay, I don't want to shoot anymore too. So
Good.
we're gonna just move these things to somewhere else. It was very exciting taping with Eric as well.
Oh my gosh.
Eric Larson came out, and I think
Well,
I've
we
shared
had-
this story how I met
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah,
We
so
had several conversations last time I was here, okay, with Eric.
yes,
And it was some great content. But this time you actually let us sit down and do one of our Holster Makers podcasts that we do the release at 9 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Or
so
8 a.m.
this will be available before you see what we're doing now. This
Yep,
is the magic
absolutely.
of
The
video,
magic moment.
right?
So we'll be able to do that. And he's not here, so he can't say anything.
I could make him say something.
Do you want to tell him what's going to happen with Eric Larson and Illum?
Well, so he's going to come and teach a class on inside the waistband, which is going to be really cool.
And this is the guy that was my mentor on the inside the waistband. I think he's one of the best in the country.
And he did help us in both of the classes that you've taught. We did some dyeing with him. We did some molding. You guys both went through different stages of molding together.
We mold completely different.
And yeah, well, and last year what was fun about the class, and this is something that you usually don't see in an educational video platform, is where we bring two forces together, and there was the added, story of this was the first time you had met Eric in person. We're just like, oh, well, let's have him come to the studio.
For 15 years,
So it's good you guys got along.
And we got to meet, and he brought me coffee.
He brought you coffee, which I would have not done, and then we would have had a
You've not
problem.
done now for the second year in a row.
Yeah, well, because Eric brings the coffee.
Is that okay?
That's
Everybody's got to have a job.
everybody. And we appreciate you doing that, Eric, because I'm not going to go buy some fancy coffee for George.
Eric Larson lives right here in the valley.
Yes.
Builds, he's a full-on custom maker, okay? Builds what you need to your body, to your level of discretion.
No,
You're
he
not
had
gonna find
some-
anybody- What a blessing to have in the valley.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and I had, when I met him to borrow a blue gun, I had no idea.
You got his pants as well, I heard.
Yeah, well, okay, now we need to put it in context.
He
I went and
got
picked
his
up
pants.
a blue gun in a parking lot, and Eric was smart enough to go, it's going to look like I'm handing you a gun. So he's like, here's a pair of pants with that blue gun. And, we went on our merry way.
Got his pants.
It was odd looking. Well, not only that, but I gave him $50. There was an exchange of money and
Money for pants.
money for pants. So, looking forward to getting all this edited together. We got a ton done. We had some lofty goals, but we'll pick up a lot of these things in the near future. It may have to be another year, George, before you come out, but we will see what we can possibly do.
We are pretty busy at the shop. Next year would be great, and I've got a really cool idea.
Okay.
How would you like us to be able to teach people how to design and build full-on shoulder rigs?
I think that'd be
Magazine
cool.
pouch, holster, what was called the Jackass style. That was a company, the Jackass Holster Company. This would be the horizontal Miami Vice type with a double mag pouch hanging here. What do you think about that?
I think that would be cool.
I'd love to.
That
bring
would be a
to
cool
you.
class.
And perhaps we'll do. Let's be lofty, okay?
Okay.
Let's do chest rigs.
Oh,
So
okay.
chest rigs for hunting and a shoulder holster.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have that to look forward to.
But we need to be next spring.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave a comment too, because if you would like to see something else from George, that's helpful too, right?
Absolutely. And the smaller
Although I'm happy making them watch whatever it is you want to
Whatever it
teach
is.
them. We try to take care of our instructors. I saved George's life.
He did. You can see it on our Facebook.
It'll be everywhere. The whole world will have seen
they'll
that
see
before
it.
this video.
With
It'll-
sloths.
Yeah, so a sloth Band-Aid.
I've decided these guys get me. Because last time Misty gave me a very, very nice gift set of different items I took it home to my wife and I never saw it again. This time, she gave me, and you gave me.
And also that you got stopped by TSA for.
Right. But this time, you and them gave me books from Braden's reading list.
Yes. Well, and so
and is that available? His reading list is going to be
yeah.
available.
Again, in the Illum community, we are going to bring those books there, and then let's start having a conversation. So, what I enjoy about being part of the Burns reading program is that I don't really know what I want to read, and it forces me to read, basically, in a nutshell, or to listen to, which is
fantastic.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we'll get those books out there and let's start talking about them and start a conversation, because that's the big thing for me, because I can read and my mind wanders the whole time, right? And then once you get a couple books, you don't know which book said what, but when you have a group of people, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that part.
Absolutely.
So, we hooked George up with Story Brand, Comfort Crisis, Atomic Habits.
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. And
which is an oldie, but it's a foundation for so many things.
Okay, that's one I have not read, and there was Essentialism, right? Was that what it was? Which also looked like a good one. So if you're still watching, thank you for staying tuned. I hope this has you excited for some classes coming to the platform. If you don't know George or haven't had a class from him, he is a hoot.
I've always told you that I'm a hoot. You usually call my shop.
We can't say what I call you.
But it has been a great opportunity, a great experience. Thank you guys so much for letting me do that.
I appreciate you coming out to the studio. And and not once, but twice.
Twice.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.